there's our hail signature. We've got, just looking, we've got the potential here, some big hail. Granby is going to be hit pretty hard. I've got, coming into Heartland right now. I've got a really big, hey, Josh, I know we had Tara heading up towards Simsbury. I think Granby's probably the way to go, if you could just relay that to them, because we've got just, this is it looks like downtown Simsbury. You're lucky, you're going to miss it, but Granby is going to get hit extremely hard by this storm. The storm is certainly strengthening. We have a tornado warning in effect for Granby as the storm comes out of Barkhamsted. Heartland right now along 179, along Route 20. Looks like some giant hail. So East Heartland, be on the lookout in East Heartland, I would say, for hail possibly as large as the size of, oh man, I mean, it's getting even more impressive. I would say here in Heartland, East Heartland, we could be talking about hail approaching tennis ball size. This thing really, just in the last maybe 30 seconds, I've seen some really big spikes here on radar with this hail core coming into Heartland. So we sort of have a two-faceted system here, so a couple different threats here in Barkhamsted and up toward Heartland and Granby. The first threat is obviously that potential tornado with some rotation heading out of Barkhamsted, heading into Granby. So that's threat number one. This is the storm. If there was a possible tornado, it would be here in Barkhamsted, right in the center of town, along 179 and 219. Let's go over to wind velocity mode. I can take a closer look at this. And yeah, certainly that is a strong signature here that we do have some rotation over Barkhamsted. And this is just one of many storms that we're tracking, but this one has a couple things. So let's sort of go through the threats here. The first threat is going to be in Barkhamsted, the threat for a tornado, and this is heading over into Granby and North Canton. So if you are in, let's time this out here. So let me just draw the storm track here. Possible tornado moving through Granby, North Canton as well, Firetown 401, Terriffill 405, East Granby 407. So that's threat number one. Along the northern border here, through portions of East Heartland, now into North Granby, near the Notch in Southwick, and over towards Suffield, we've got to be concerned about really big hail. Hail possibly as large as tennis balls along the Massachusetts border. So that is a very concerning thing. So we've got a couple different things that we're worried about here. One is extremely large hail, and the second one would be that possible tornado to the south that's going to move out of Barkhamsted. Let's take a closer look. This is in the southern part of Granby, south of Route 20. So Firetown Road, this is in Granby, Squadron Line Road. Squadron Line Road might be, I'm not quite sure if that's still in Granby or not. I don't know if Phil's around. He might be able to help. He's our floor manager. Route 202 as well, Canton Road, Holcomb Street, over towards Simsbury Road. So this is West Granby. That's Barkhamsted. Possible tornado coming in this area. Squadron Line Road is in Simsbury. I thought, because I believe there's a Squadron Line Elementary School in Simsbury. So you've got right along the Simsbury, sort of where Simsbury, Granby, and Canton come together, the three town intersections right around here. And if there was a tornado, there it is, moving to the east. So you need to be in a basement, a small interior room. Stay away from windows as the storm approaches. Along the Mass border, so up toward North Granby and heading into near the Notch and over towards Suffield, your threat is going to be giant hail with this storm. And then we're talking about hail here. We've got some really, I mean, this storm is really shot up. We've got the threat for some hail that is enough to, could even break a windshield or something like that. I mean, this is how big that hail is that's moving on through. So we've got large hail to the north, potential for a tornado to the south, tornado warning in effect for the northern part of the Farmington Valley right now, and that's where we are talking about the potential here for a really nasty storm that has the potential to cause a lot of damage. Josh, what do you have?
And Ryan, I'm just looking at the radar data out near East Heartland, right along Route 179, and basically it's black, and I mean, that's as high as it gets right there, and that's an indication of just how big this hail is. So, if you're in East Heartland along Mountain Road, Lost Acres Road, along Route 189, North Lost Acres Road, and along Route 120, right in this vicinity, right in the East Heartland area, just be on the lookout. Be wary if you're, near windows. Be careful because the hail could be so big to possibly break some windows here. I mean, we're talking about hail in excess of 1.5 to even 2 inches, and wouldn't be surprised if we even saw, golf ball to even tennis ball sized hail with this system.
And Josh, I'm just looking from our different radar sites, and again, West Simsbury, I see. Let's go back. If we can go over to the chroma key in Max A, there's that rotation. This is a serious storm now.
That's tightening back up,
It certainly is. And you're watching NBC Connecticut News at 4 here as we're tracking this potential tornado moving into the Farmington Valley. So a couple things that have me concerned right now immediately here as we're heading into the Farmington Valley. One is that the storm just sort of shot up. We saw a very impressive, a very strong updraft develop with this storm. That's why we're talking about giant hail to the near size of tennis balls. You don't get that in Connecticut very often. I can't really remember a hailstone that big in Connecticut in quite some time. That's one thing. Second thing is that the storm's coming down off the hills of Granby into the valley, and that can tighten up the rotation with these things. So occasionally you can really see a very quick update. So technically the tornado warning has expired, but I would say I would be in my a safe spot for this possible tornado here moving through West Simsbury. I'm going to zoom in and give you
I
some
would
of the
assume
streets.
they're probably going to extend that. Would you agree, Ryan?
I would too.
Or reissue it, I should say. And one other thing to note is Winchester right now over half the town without power. So we are seeing numerous trees and wires down in the area.
Just got a golf ball sized hail from Heartland here, Josh. So
Wow.
so there we go. So this is Northgate, Wingate, Old Farms Road. This is over toward, let's see. Okay, we just got the tornado warning
There's
for
the new
Hartford
one.
County. So
Yep.
I actually just messaged them on chat. I go, thoughts on a tornado warning for Northwest Hartford County? We're
There it is.
multitasking here. And again, this certainly does have me concerned here, moving from Simsbury over toward near the Granby line. So this is Simsbury, Granby line heading out toward Terriffill right now. We've got this really nasty storm. If we can get actually Bob to call in, Bob should be in the area.
I believe we're trying to get him on video, actually.
Oh, great.
So.
Okay, so let's take a look at this. I'm going to track the storm to give you. There is that potential tornado coming out of North Canton. So we're talking about basically right along northern part of Simsbury, southern part of Granby, possible tornado here, and this is going to head toward the Connecticut River Valley in the near future as the storm moves to the east. So let's track it for you. I've got the storm again coming to the east at approximately 45 miles per hour. So this is the approximate track of the storm. We're talking about Terriffill at 408, North Bloomfield at 410, and then you're going to head over toward the Windsors, over toward Pequannock and Windsor there around 415. So as the storm comes out of the hills and into the valley, you can certainly see some tightening of the rotation, and we tend to see that sometimes with these storms as they come into the hills and into the valley. And Josh, look at this on 202 between Simsbury and Granby. That is not a good-looking signature at all. We certainly have quite a bit of rotation here with this storm as it moves toward 202. So if you're in Terriffill, if you're in Simsbury, if you're in Granby, you have to be in a safe spot right now. Firetown Road, over toward Canton Road, Holcomb Street, Old Farms Road. This is the area where we have that possible tornado. What I'm looking here is the winds with the storm. We've got winds that are blowing from north to south over North Canton. They're blowing from south to north over Simsbury, and there's your rotation. That's your possible tornado now moving through portions of Hartford County. And obviously to the north of that, we've got the potential for some really, really big hail with this storm as it moves on through. Josh, what do you
Ryan,
have?
let's just talk about some of the tornado safety tips real quick here. And we are talking about if you do have a tornado warning in effect for your area, so northern Hartford County right now, move to the basement or move to a small interior room, the lowest part, away from windows. Don't go outside. If you are outside right now and you're watching us maybe on the app, head indoors. I mean, this system is extremely impressive. And of course, here in New England with the hilly terrain, the trees. It's not like it is out west. They're really hard to see. So, again, we are tracking tornado warning in effect for northern Hartford County, and, some pretty impressive lightning with this system as well. And Ryan, I'll send things back to you with more on the tracking of this system.
Yeah. So again, that tornado threat between Simsbury and Granby right now, we're gonna go street level here because it's really important to drill into the neighborhoods that may be impacted by the storm. So there's your possible tornado between Simsbury and Granby. At any time, if not already, a tornado could be on the ground. Granby right now, and just to the north of Granby, you are getting hit very hard by some very, very big hail. We're talking hail here, probably on the order of at least golf ball size, I'd say, north of Route 20, possibly as big as tennis balls. So between Granby and the Mass line, if you head up towards Southwick right now, that's where you're just getting hit extremely hard. This is going to move toward East Granby. And guys, the Bradley Skycam at any moment is going to have a great shot of this. If we're looking to the west toward the hills, we should be able to see this storm coming in from the west. So again, possible tornado here. The rotation, I would say it looks a little broad right now. I can see a couple things. One, what do you got, Josh?
Ryan, we do have Bob Maxon on the phone, and he's in Simsbury, so we can bring him up.
Hey, Bob, what are you looking at right now?
Well, right now I'm at Simsbury Farms Golf Course. So I'm on the northwest side of Simsbury along Old Farms Road. Our visibility has gone down to less than I'd say a half or a quarter of a mile at best. Winds have freshened. The rain has certainly picked up in intensity. I'm watching for any possible hail as well. I think I'm just south of that circulation that you guys are watching right now, which is moving through that Granby-Simsbury town line.
Yeah, for sure, Bob. I think you're probably missing it by about a quarter mile. I've got Old Farms Road here in Simsbury. So you're in West Simsbury, so just north of 309, I believe. So there's Old Farms Road, and that rotation is just to the northwest of you, a little bit closer to Granby. Have you seen any strong winds beside the dark skies? Have the winds picked up at all?
Yeah, they certainly have picked up. It was just a breeze when I first arrived about 20 minutes ago. Now we have gusty winds that I'm watching some of the umbrellas here at the golf course. They have a big tent, a structure that is starting to sway back and forth a little bit. But right now I would say these winds are just ticking around over 20. But I mean, again, as I speak, I'm starting to see it pick up in intensity with the winds coming right through this little valley that is in the northwest part or the northeast part of Canton into the western part of Simsbury, where they come in with Granby. And in that area, now the visibility is down to probably a couple hundred yards at best, and the rain has picked up in intensity.
So, and Bob, I can see those strong winds coming down from the north right now on the backside of the storm. So this is what we call the rear flank downdraft that you're getting into. So Bob is right here. I'm just sort of circling it for our viewers watching at home. That's where Bob is. If there's a tornado, it's here, just to the north between Simsbury and Granby. Bob, if you see anything else, please stay on the horn with us and give us an update.
Certainly will. Winds are increasing again, Ryan. I'd say these gusts are closer to 30 to 40.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, Bob Maxon, live in West Simsbury as this storm moves in. So again, this is the track of the storm, Taraville 409. So basically overhead, if you're in Taraville, you need to be in a safe spot. East Granby 411, Pequannock 414, Windsor Locks 416, East Windsor 420, Broadbrook at 422. That's the storm that's moving in. Josh, I see, let me just circle this. I see these very strong winds here.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that may be a little bit of side lobe contamination.
Yep.
I think that might be a little bit of an artifact.
I agree, because I'm looking at some of the other radars is not picking that up.
Okay.
Some of the radar from Upton and Albany.
So, but what we do have is that right there along 202, where you do have that rotation. So what you're looking at there is at any moment you could see a tornado touching down. So certainly some rotation. It's not jumping off the charts at me as extremely strong, but there you can see as we look to the west now from Bradley Airport, that is a very impressive looking signature there with some very, very dark clouds moving in from the west. And Bradley's going to be really close to getting in to the worst part of the storm, I think, Josh, as it moves in from the west.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, Ryan. If we can maybe pull up the Talcott Mountain camera from the Talcott Mountain Science Center. I mean, that camera.
Yeah, and looking to the north up past Hubline Tower, you should get a good shot. Oh, there you go.
And there you go. I mean, that is very impressive there. And Ryan, that is looking north, correct?
That is looking north. Yep.
So that's looking to the north, and you can see just how ominous the clouds are. And this is, this is one of the areas that we're monitoring. And you can see as we slowly pan that the clouds are pretty low to the ground. We're dealing with some really heavy rain out there, some potentially hail in the excess of 1.5 to 2 inches. And, we're also looking at the threat for a possible tornado.
Yeah, sure. It almost looks like you can see a little bit of a Mattis clouds overhead there from the Talcott Mountain Science Center. You can see, obviously, a really nasty storm moving through the Farmington Valley. So again, we're talking about the potential here for hail, the potential for some large hail as well, especially just to the north. I'm going to see if we have any reports coming in. I don't see any yet. But I do know that the Weather Service in their warning is warning for hail, and we just got a report of hail to the size of 2 inches in diameter in Heartland. So, we gave you that first alert as that storm was heading into Heartland that the hail was going to be a big factor, and it sure is. And Granby and Suffield right now, 187, 168, Phelps Road, over toward Hungary Road, Newgate Road in Granby. We're talking about some big, big hail coming down right now. That is near Bradley Airport. I believe that's Tara Joyce, and you can see Josh, almost looks like a shelf cloud there. It looks like
it certainly does.
That looks like Perimeter Road.
Yep.
Almost looks like she's on the north
side
of the airport.
Talk,
hey, Josh, Tara, I hear you. Go. What do you got?
Hey Ryan, sorry to interrupt, but I saw that you guys were taking this camera and I had to jump in because it is a pretty impressive scene out here right near Bradley International, and it changed in a matter of minutes. I was on the phone with the assignment desk at one point. I said, we don't really have anything. It just looks a little dark out here. And within, I would say 2, 3, max 5 minutes, we had what appeared to be from sky to floor lightning coming pretty consistently for a period of time, and it continues right now. And every turn we take, it can put us in a dark area, and then if you look over here as the camera changes now, there is a totally different sky coming up on the left. So that storm pushing in, we are seeing that firsthand right now. And I got to tell you, I mean, I love lightning. I'm always impressed by it, but I am blown away by the way the sky looks right now, the way the clouds are aligned up there right now. And again, just the consistency of the lightning going from the sky to the ground, and planes still coming in. Really impressive stuff. Can't imagine what you guys are getting back there.
Yeah, and Tara, we're actually looking we're looking above you right now from our camera up at the Talcott Mountain Science Center, and the clouds and the lightning just remarkable right now as the storm moves toward through the Farmington Valley and over toward Bradley Airport. You can see as we look off to the north right now, there's Hugh Blind Tower. So we're looking up towards Simsbury, and obviously a very dramatic shot there from our camera. And if we can go back to the Bradley camera, we should see, it looks like, Bradley is what we call right now in the bear's cage of this storm. What do I mean by that? If we go back over to live First Alert Doppler radar, you can see actually it almost looks like the sun's trying to break through a little bit. But if we head over to the chroma key, if I can just show something quickly on live First Alert Doppler radar, I'm going to zoom back out and I'm going to show you just where Bradley is. So we're going to take a closer look at Bradley and head right down to the airport. So Bradley is on the Windsor Locks East Granby line. It sort of straddles the border there. And so this is where Bradley is. If there was a tornado, it would be almost right over Bradley Airport. Clearly there's not, but this is the area underneath the storm's updraft that's spinning around that we call the bear's cage of the storm. And if you're a storm chaser, you don't want to be there. So Tara, I want you to be very careful where you are. Tara is right over. This is the Bradley connector. Tara's on Perimeter Road up there to the north. So if we're going to watch this storm come in, if there is a tornado, this is where it is, near Bradley Airport. So Tara, keep an eye out and try to get in a safe spot, because there's your rotation. So, just from looking at, let me change this for you so I can show you. So there's your rotation right over Terrifville. There's International Drive, there's East Granby, Bradley's right up here. And you can see that's where the Days Inn is, that's the Perimeter Road. Tara, what do you see right now? I mean, I know you're on, are you on Perimeter Road?
It just started to rain. Yeah, we're on Perimeter, Ryan, and the rain just started to come down. And again, I'm looking at the sky above me. To my left, it is still light sky. To my right, it is dark, and it looks like, again, you would have to be the better assessor of what exactly I am seeing, but that some of these clouds are kind of dropping down, it would seem.
For sure.
Again,
Let's
we don't feel like we're in any danger right now.
Yeah, let's go back to live First Alert Doppler if we can here, because I want to, and Tara, so Tara's location, Tara is right here. So Tara, I've got good news for you for sure. If we had a tornado, it would be about a mile south of you. So that is a good place to be. You're just missing it now, but you're going to get, Tara, you're going to get into that hail core soon. So I have a feeling we just got a report of inch-size hail in Granby, so just to the north of you. So this is where Bradley is. If we had a tornado, there's our rotation. And so this is where Tara is, up near Bradley Airport. And there's the rotation with a very strong, what we call a couplet, with the winds that are turning direction very quickly here. So let's take a closer look here. There you go, winds blowing away, winds blowing toward the radar site. That is obviously what you see when you issue a tornado warning is something like that, and that's exactly what we have over Bradley. If we can go to the Bradley Skycam, there we go, and you can see, we're sort of in that situation where we're sort of in the rain-free area of the storm. We call the rain-free base, and that is the area that's spinning around. That's the storm's updraft. So what you have is you have all of the air being sucked up right over Bradley Airport into the storm. I hope they're not flying anymore. That's certainly nothing I would recommend. And there's that storm moving right over Bradley. Your hail core is to the north. Granby. Oh, wow, look at that. Tara, go.
Ryan, it is pouring, and the wind picked up again in the time that we've spoken with you. It wasn't that bad when I started speaking. We have trees swaying, being pushed over. Flags are flying out here, and it is coming down in buckets right now. Visibility definitely low. Driving, we're gonna take it easy, that's for sure, because again, we want to just be cautious of what's happening around us right now. But you can see the wind blowing the water right across the road right now. It's wild, Ryan.
Yeah, it sure is. We're gonna stay with this shot. So that's Bradley Airport getting in on the storm right now. If there was a tornado threat, it's just to the south of you, from what I can see. Let's go back here to velocity mode on radar. Tara, stay safe there. You're not near the tornado, which is good news. If there was one, I would hazard to guess at this point there isn't one, but still, if you're living in East Granby, Granby, Windsor Locks, Windsor, and then out across the border on the other side of the river, once you head out toward East Windsor, better safe than sorry. In southern part of Enfield as well, get in a safe spot. There's your rotation there from the storm. You can see look at the flag blowing there on Tara's shot there. You can see the trees blowing around as well. So she's getting into really the core of the storm there. And you can see the Bradley camera as well. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. Take a look at what we have. There's the strong rotation, or I wouldn't say strong rotation, but some rotation over Bradley Airport right now. And this is the storm to the north. We've got the potential for some large hail, especially just north of where Tara is. Tara's here, just north up into Granby. That's where you've got the hail potential. And that hail potential sort of snakes back a little bit farther to the north and west, along and just to the west of Route 75 into East Granby. And so this obviously is something, if you're in this area, you need to be in you can't be venturing outside. You need to be in a safe spot as these storms move in. And then, farther back off to the west, we have some very, very powerful storms in Litchfield County. I think from what I'm looking at here, and Josh, jump in, let me know if you see anything else. It looks to me like the tornado potential is certainly diminishing here with this thunderstorm moving through near Windsor Locks and near the airport.
I also want to point out further off to the west, and there's a storm about 20 minutes away from Connecticut, down in Newburgh,
the
New
one
York.
toward Poughkeepsie. And guys, if we can get the Avon Mountain camera up as well from Talcott Mountain Science Center.
And in this storm, it has tornado warning on it, and the velocity within this storm is pretty impressive as well. And again, it's between about 20 to 30 minutes away from impacting Connecticut. And Ryan, there's that image from the Talcott Mountain Science Center.
So that's the one storm in New York that we're going to have to watch. This is not too far from New Milford, so I want to give you a first alert here in New Milford. Wait for this storm to come in. This one is not pretty looking. This is a nasty storm, and wow, just look at that shot there on the other side of the screen. That is from the Talcott Mountain Science Center as this thunderstorm moves in. These thunderstorms are very intense. They're very powerful, and now we've got this line of thunderstorms. As we lose the tornado potential, at least initially with those storms in portions of northern Hartford County, we still do have a hail and damaging wind potential back off to the north and west. So you've got this one storm here moving out toward East Windsor, and then this line of thunderstorms that Caitlin is still near, I believe, up here in portions of Litchfield County. She's in Granby right now. And Caitlin, what do you have in Granby? What are you seeing? Hey, Caitlin McGrath, you there?
Through Windsor locks. Can you hear me, Ryan?
Yep, I got you. Go.
Okay, so we're in Granby behind that storm, and you can tell it went through here. I'm going to switch our camera around here. You can see there are leaves everywhere. There are branches scattered about as well. Clearly, some strong wind did move through this area. You can see the roads are just littered with debris. And, we have been driving through
Caitlin, look at all that hail. Is that all hail on the side of the road? It looks like it snowed.
No.
All right, looks like we'll try to get back to Caitlin as soon as she has a better shot up. But it looked like either that's a lot of leaves that came down, or you've got some hail on the side of the roads there. So when we have Caitlin's shot, we're going to get back to that. So again, we've got this tornado-warned storm moving toward East Windsor. To me, the tornado threat is quite low now. The tornado threat has certainly diminished, but I am getting more concerned, I would say, about the damaging wind threat back off to the north and west, out through portions of Litchfield County. And then again, this line of thunderstorms is going to come in. The whole state is still at risk here. We can't, forget about if you're in Danbury, Waterbury, or Middletown, or Meriden, or New Haven. I haven't talked about you over the last hour and a half we've been on TV. It's because the storms are just not in your town yet. They will get there, and the severe weather risk does extend down to the south. And is that Bradley, guys? So, Bradley Airport is in the thick of it right now. Can't see a thing there at Bradley as this thunderstorm moves through. So, again, tornado threat seems lower to me around Bradley, but that still doesn't mean you can't get one heck of a storm. In fact, just got a report from Southwick, just north of Granby. So the notch here, ping-pong ball-sized hail as this storm moved through. And there's Granby, there's East Granby and Windsor locks at Bradley Airport just getting hammered by this storm as it moves on through. So let's time this line out, because we've got this line of thunderstorms that's moving on through, stretching from about Kent up toward Torrington. So this is the next line of storms we're going to be watching. This one's going to be moving in, let's say, over the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. Let me do this one more time here. Let's see. All right, there we go. So we've got this line of thunderstorms moving to the east, and we're talking about the storms, this next round of thunderstorms. West Simsbury 425, Harwinton 426, Simsbury 429, Morris at 431, Bloomfield 432, Burlington at 434. So we've got that one storm to the north that appears to be weakening some, still an intense storm. Can't let our guard down with it, but the tornado threat appears to be diminishing. Then we've got this next line of thunderstorms that's going to move in from the west, and these storms are just nasty. They've got the potential to produce hail and also some damaging winds, and that could develop into more of a damaging wind threat as these storms move to the south and to the east. So there's a lot we're going to have to watch with these thunderstorms as they move on through. And I'm going to put the radar into motion. Well, let's check out western Connecticut and put the radar into motion here and watch these thunderstorms as they move in. Let me try this one more time here. You can see. All right, there we go. Much better. So here's the thunderstorms, again, moving through Litchfield County. And let's put the loop, this is a 1 hour loop, and watch the storm sort of congeal into a line stretching back from the Hudson River up toward northern Litchfield County, Winstead back toward Washington, over into Kent, New Milford. You're going to be up next. Morris, Torrington, over into Bristol, back through the Farmington Valley. We're going to have to watch this line of thunderstorms as it moves on through. And you can see as the storms move to the south and east, they're what we refer to as linear. And what I mean by that is they're just organizing into a straight old line. And so that line of thunderstorms as it moves in from the west has the potential here to produce some very strong winds. Generally, as storms start to line out, you've got a threat for more damaging winds as opposed to hail or tornadoes, and that's what we're looking at now as these storms move on through. So I'm going to head back over to the more typical radar signature, and you can see, again, I'm going to track these for you one more time. That's the line of thunderstorms. It's moving to the east at about let's say 45 miles an hour. So the second line of thunderstorms, Warren 424, Torrington 429, Litchfield 433, New Preston 433, Harwinton 437, West Simsbury 437 as well, and heading towards Simsbury and Morris. So Simsbury got hit by one storm. Round number 2 is on your doorstep. This is going to be moving in shortly. So all of these storms are worth watching, and all of them have the potential to be severe. We've got that tornado warning for Hartford County that I imagine, it looks like we've got got a 47-knot wind gust at Bradley, Josh. So we're talking about 47 knots, 54 miles an hour, 53, 54 miles an hour. So that's a good gust out of Bradley from this storm as it moved in. And it looks like, from what I can see, that tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire, and it looks like it did.
But Ryan, as soon as that one expires, I mean, I think they're going to probably extend one into Connecticut from this storm that's over areas like Newburgh, New York. And we can just talk about that one real quick if you want to come over to the Weather Center. Just looking over some of the latest information. We could pull up Max A with this as well. I'll show you what we're looking at here. Okay, if we can just put Max A full, then I'll show the viewers. We don't have Max A. Okay, well, Ryan, we'll send things over to you. Do you want to show this?
Yeah, I sure can, Josh. So let's take a look. I'm going to step out of here for just a second. They can throw me up at the chroma key. So, yeah, just like you were saying, and Josh, feel free to jump in because you've been watching these storms just to the west. So it's this line of thunderstorms that looks particularly nasty out toward Poughkeepsie, and this is not too far from coming toward New Milford and Kent. So I'm going to put a storm track on this, Josh. And Josh, feel free.
Sure.
What do you think? I mean, just looking at the storm in Poughkeepsie, I'd say sort of multifaceted threats here, tornado and also damaging winds.
Yeah, damaging winds. I don't think the hail looks too impressive with this storm, but definitely good rotation within this storm, and the signature on the wind aspect from this storm looks quite impressive.
Sure does.
There is a tornado warning on this storm right now, and it also has the kind of hook shape to it as well. So that's something we also monitor when we're looking at the potential for tornado.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is a nasty-looking signature here. So this is just to the west of Connecticut. You've got a pretty strong damaging wind signal here, that's for sure. And the potential looks like right here for a tornado. That's why the tornado warning's in effect. So we'll see right now no tornado warnings in effect for Connecticut. Wouldn't be surprised if that changes shortly as these storms move in. So a little bit of good news for you here. The tornado warning will expire for Hartford County at 4:30. So the severe weather threat is lowering there, at least the threat for a tornado. But Josh, take a look at some of this reflectivity here. We've got, not reflectivity, wind, velocity we've got through Litchfield County. Everywhere you see this pink shading, moving from Winstead down toward Goshen and Cornwall, that's where radar is picking up some very, very powerful winds. So even if you're not in a tornado warning, I don't want you to think like, it's all good. We missed the worst of the storm. Right. Someone else is getting the possible tornado. We've got along this line the potential for some very, very powerful winds. And I'm looking at wind speeds here that are easily 50 to 70 miles per hour along this line of thunderstorms moving in. So, Josh, the damaging wind threat for sure is quite high in Litchfield County, and this is going to move back into portions of Bradley Airport, it looks like, as well.
And, Ryan, we're seeing a pretty good line of storms form off of this. So this is all part of a big system that's moving across. And, just because Litchfield County is getting in on the action now, really all of Connecticut is under the gun for these strong thunderstorms, potential tornadoes, with the biggest threats being damaging winds in excess of 58 miles per hour, large hail over 1 inch, which we have already seen. We've also seen hail in excess of ping pong sized hail, and I believe we had a 2-inch, right? 2-inch. Did we have one that was 2 inches?
We did.
Egg-sized hail?
Yep, egg-sized hail.
So, I mean, right there just shows us that we've been talking about these storms for days now, and here you go. So let's take a look at this.
And Josh, I'm just going to say we've just got a couple. If you want, we just got some great tweets coming in. We've got a bunch of them here. We got 1.5 inch size diameter hail in Heartland.
Yep.
That's a big one. And also we have a great shot of a rotating wall cloud that we have on Twitter as well. So from Barkhamsted,
yeah, let's get some of these up. So I'll work on getting some of these. Getting some of these images up, and we'll also take a look at the radar here. Believe we are on. That's Max C. Okay, Max C.
And we're also getting some reports of some damage, some car windshields smashed in Granby.
And that's one of those areas where we saw the hail reports of over 2-inch hail in areas of Granby.
So again, not a surprise here to see that hail damage coming in. Let's go, Caitlin. Go. What do you got?
Hey, you guys, are we up?
You are. Go.
Okay, hey guys, yeah, we are driving west on 20 through portions of Granby. We just got out of the center of town, and actually, right as you were pulling up our shot, we drove past a car that was having a cracked windshield, right as Ryan was talking about it. We did see some of that hail on the ground here in